am Sam Sachs, filling in for Thom Hartmann, who's on the phone with me right now. We're talking about the Democratic debate, and I'm trying to look at the debate last night and trying to find those moments of disagreement between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders, and we talked about it on guns, and we've talked about it on foreign entanglements and Wall Street. Here's another one that came up a little bit later on the debate, and this is clips 12 and 13 coming up, and this is on marijuana. I want to play clip 12 first, and this is what Bernie Sanders had to say about America's failed drug war.
We are imprisoning or giving jail sentences to young people who are smoking marijuana. I think we have to think through this war on drugs, which has done an enormous amount of damage. We need to rethink our criminal justice system, and we've got a lot of work to do in that area.
Meanwhile, okay, so that's what Bernie had to say, that, let's end this this war on drugs. Here was Hillary Clinton's response to a similar question. This is clip 13 coming up. Here it is.
When asked about legalizing recreational marijuana, you told her, let's wait and see how it plays out in Colorado and Washington. It's been more than a year since you said that. Are you ready to take a position tonight?
No.
In other words, Hillary Clinton is still evolving on this issue, possibly. What do you think, Tom?
Well, you look up caution in the dictionary and there's a picture of Hillary Clinton. She's a very careful, cautious candidate, and that has, in the minds of some people, translated into calculating, which it becomes a misogynistic and kind of negative female stereotype that a lot of her male opponents have traditionally applied to her, particularly on the Republican side. But it also means that she thinks things through, and she's careful in her analysis of things, which I would think is a virtue. It's just like with gay marriage, give her a year or two. This is another one of those things, Sam, where, and by the way, we should mention Sam Sachs is filling in for me today as the co-founder of the District Sentinel, which is one of the great news organizations here in Washington, D.C.
Thank you, Tom.
Sentinel.com is the website. It's .com, right, Sam?
.com, that's right. I'll name drop it a few more times before the next few hours are out.
Cool, thank you. Because it's really a website worth checking out. But in any case, I think that I think just like Bernie's kind of perceived middle of the road position on guns, even though on guns he's actually far more progressive than the Democratic Party institutionally has been. But they portrayed him as kind of a middle of the road guy last night. Mm-hmm. Portraying Hillary Clinton as middle of the road on pot and on defense is probably going to help her in the general election. And I don't think it's going to substantially hurt her in the primary, because I think the primary voters are polarizing fairly quickly.
True. If Hillary can keep coming out of these Democratic debates being declared a winner without having to lurch too far to her left, then it's going to bode well for her when she's eventually going up against a Republican, if she is, of course, the nominee. Let's take another phone call here. Rod from East Rutherford, New Jersey. You're on.
Yes, good afternoon. Hope you're both doing well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rod.
What I wanted to comment about, I was both encouraged and discouraged last night, and one question I still have is, once the person gets the office, regardless of who it is, are they going to be any oligarchs or, the plutocrats' hip pocket? So far as, I think Bernie Sanders' choice of words was unfortunate, revolution and socialism. A lot of people do not understand the difference between socialism and Soviet communism. Mm-hmm. And also this machine that the Republicans and the conservatives have built up over the last 40-some years, basically since Nixon, is going to take a lot of effort to dismantle.
Yeah, it was pretty aggressively this morning. I turned on Fox News this morning, and they were going off on, let me describe to you what socialism is, and, how many Americans died in World War II kind of stuff. It was amazing.
But a couple things that I'd like to bring up was I was disappointed by what the candidates said, and this was to a man about Edward Snowden. And also, I found Lincoln Chafee's comment about the Republican Party interesting. Basically,
in terms of the party leaving him.
Yeah, basically, he said he didn't leave the party left him. And if you look,
referring to the Republican Party,
right? And if you look at the Republican Party, just about anybody that would be considered liberal, and that would include people like Nelson Rockefeller and Lincoln Chafee, have basically been purged from the party.
Yeah. Well, this has been said a few times today that Lincoln Chafee and Jim Webb would have probably been better off on the Republican debate stage. Of course, they probably would have been forced out, as you said, but they seemed a little out of place on this debate stage.
Mm-hmm. And I've been in the position of being a whistleblower, and I was disappointed with what they said about Edward Snowden, because basically, if you see something wrong in the system and you try to be a whistleblower, it's the likelihood is you're going to be squelched or worse. Mm-hmm. I think Snowden looked at the situation, looked at his options, and did the best thing he thought he could.
Yeah, and this was, of course, Hillary mentioned during the debate that Snowden could have gone a different angle. He could have relied on whistleblower protections, but that's not exactly true. If you're a contractor in the intelligence community, you don't get any protections from retaliation. You don't have a pathway to blow the whistle. And even if you were, at the time, a government spy, you didn't either. That just recently came into being, where people who work for the NSA actually have whistleblower protections. But I hear what you're saying there, Rod. And
I thought it was pretty disingenuous of her, actually.
True, yeah, and both Hillary and Bernie kind of assented toward Snowden facing some sort of jail time when he gets back. But the big difference is Bernie is looking for a lenient sentence where we take into the account that he acted on on his conscience.
Right.
Rather, Hillary's claiming he gave away bad.
Snowden has said he's willing to serve some jail time, some reasonable amount of jail time.
True.
So he's sort of saying the same thing for him.
Good point. Tom, thanks so much for coming on your show. It was great talking with you about the debate.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you.